Compared to previous lessons, we are going to deal with a little harder concept today, but it's not really as hard as you feel. But anyway, be ready for this journey. Okay, lesson 41. Okay, Jim, could you read the passage?
uh, Kelaka ne darak shalashat yame yamayam beme dabar dabe.
Okay. All right. Still needed to pay attention to some vowel pointing. Okay. It's not 100% accurate. Let us see how others do. Uh, Phineas, could you?
Yes, sir. Um, Nelakam, Nam, Derek, Shelshet, Shelshet, Yamim, Bami, Bamidba,
All
Bamidbar.
right. All right. Great. Okay. Today we are going to talk about. Let's see. Yeah, we are going to talk about causative and use of na. So, in terms of the new knowledge, actually, cohortative is what we really need to pay attention to. Do you know what it means by cohortative? It's a it's commandments, kind of a commandment. But when it comes to commandment, then we have learned only imperative, and then imperative is normally used for second person, right? So cohortative is kind of a commandment, but addressed only to first persons. So first common singular, first common plural. So it is like carrying the wish of our will, and or it comes with kind of expression of in English, let me or may I. So we are going to talk about it. One of the thing that we have to pay attention to is, of course, the indicator of qualitative. But today we are going to talk about qualitative, and tomorrow we will deal with another types of uh, commandment, but used for the third person. One of the reasons why I say this is not really, I mean, this is not really common concept is because it comes with prefix form, but it is prefix form, but we need to acknowledge as a quotative. So we will just start talking about it. So how many of you can recognize the presence of verbs today? Can you recognize the verb? Where is it?
Lakach.
You mean the first one?
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Okay, you're right. The first one. And what are the root letters?
Halak.
Yes.
Lakach, yeah.
Yeah. That's tsere. And then actually, as I said, probably Pierce, you could be confused as if we have a new vocabulary, nun, lamed, kaf. And then this is specific ending argument, but it's not. This is halak, and then tsere comes under the prefix pronoun nun. So this nun is not a part of root letter, but pronominus, what is it? Prefix pronoun, okay? So then we know that this one is halak, okay? Be careful with the final form, always. Halak. And what about stem? Kai, Pierre, Hifil,
Cow.
Kal, right? It cannot be Hifil. Why? Because we
There
have,
were you do not have like Hirek yod.
right, and then, yes,
So, but
exactly.
under the prefix.
So we are not supposed to have tsere under the prefix pronoun, okay, in case of the Hifil, by the way. So then it's Kal. Move on. Form. It's very straightforward. I told you. Tsere under the prefix pronoun. So prefix. Then what about PGN? Nun comes in the beginning. Yo, tap 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 alert.
CPL. Study
One
CPL.
CPL.
One
One
CPL.
One
CP.
CPL.
Yes, one CPL. What about special feature? Do you know what this is? Na? I think it's not our first time. Is this our first time to deal with na? You haven't memorized this word, right? What does it mean?
Please now.
Now. Yeah.
Na?
Please now.
Yes, please and now. You're right. This one means please and now. So you can choose either. Okay, so you can include this one as a special feature. Na particle. You can say particle. Na particle. Is that all? As you recognize, nun is pronominal suffix. I mean pronominal prefix pronoun. Common June. And then this is a halak. And why is that we have a he ending?
Pronominal suffix. 3 FSG.
Well, actually, we don't have this form. In order for us to have this one must have agesh, 3 FSG, or must be ha, not a, in terms of a pronominal suffix. Okay, so this one is not a pronominal suffix, but do you remember when we are talking about imperative form? I think we dealt with emphatic he. Do you remember emphatic he? So emphatic he is normally used for the form that is related to the idea of commandment. So here, as I said, we don't know what normally want to use the word commandment when you say may I, let me, right? But it still carries the nuance of asking somebody, okay, asking for permit. So right? This one is specifically used for cohortative, like the way it was used for imperative. But maybe the name is not empathic care, but we are going to talk about it. So you need to include two things here, na and he ending. But the meaning of he uh is nothing. So you don't need to include anything there for he. It just indicates the presence of qualitative, okay, that serves as a diagnostic of qualitative. So today, what really matters is we need to remember a hair ending, okay? So when I ask you the diagnostic or the most important indicator of qualitative, then you need to let me know he, augment, all right? And secondly, it usually or most of the time comes with na particle. So if you see a he ending attached to the main verb, okay, and the verb is used together with the prefix form, all right? Prefix form, first person. Is that clear? So it should be either the pronominal, a prefix pronoun should be either nun or aleph. First common singular would be aleph, and first common plural is nun. So, okay, if you are dealing with the first person prefix form, and you can see a he ending at the end of the verb, and na, then that's quoted. And you need to translate it by putting let me, or let us, or may I, may we. Okay? So that is the idea of quotative. And what is this, Derek?
Way.
Way? What about this? Y- Just to forget about this. I think you memorized shells.
3.
Yes, right. It's a three, but it is a variation from shells. And there is a reason why we have this augment of ta. Actually, when when a number, Hebrew number modifies a noun, it normally changes its form to have agreement in terms of gender and number, something like that. But we can always see the agreement in terms of gender and number because Hebrew number doesn't really care about the agreement. But we do have some variation in terms of person, gender, number, not person, gender, and number. Okay, so that's why this one just changed its agreement, but it comes with the idea of three. Okay, so three, and then it is modifying the following word. What is it? Yamim. It's a plural form of yam. It's a yom,
네, days.
day. So yom is a singular day, but yamim is plural form of day. So it should be days. So what kind of days? 3 days. And then as a construct chain, it modifies the preceding noun, which is way. So what is your translation for these three words? Okay. Way, a way of 3 days. Okay. It's a 3 day way or something like that. And we know some of you quite good number made this mistake looking at this one because you know this one is tabar, but do not just be tempted. I'm going to send you your translation quiz 6. I'm done with grading and marking. So after this class, you'll be able to get it. This one is not dabar, but midbar, which means wilderness. Okay. So this one is a combination between the preposition b and then midbar. But one more thing that you need to pay attention to is pata under the preposition be. Why is that we have pata? Because this one is what? Yeah,
In the
definite article he. So when definite article he is sandwiched by the preposition be and midbar, and it disappears, and the main vowel point replace the preceding one. Okay, so the meaning is in the wilderness. So as I said, when it comes to the translation of qualitative, actually, oh, I forgot. In fact, this one is not actually in terms of analysis. I analyze it as a prefix form, but from today onward, if you have this prefix form first person and then used together with a he ending, and you see na, then you are not supposed to put it as prefix form. Okay, one more time. If you see those indicators, then you need to put quotative. It's quite interesting because although we consider this as a special form, but unfortunately we cannot see the form of quotative from our verb chart, unlike imperative, because imperative is a unique form that has own distinctions and then indicators. So we have a fixed prefix, imperative particle, a participle, infinitive construct, right? But this one, quotative, doesn't have it because it has only one form in terms of indicator. So as I said, what is the most important indicator of quotative? And you need to say lengthening because at the end of the verb, it lengthened. It is lengthened by putting a he ending, right? So if you have all those indicators, then the form should be quotative, not prefix. Remember this, okay? That's a quotative. And then you can just put the gender, person, number. What are they? In this case, you're right. You can just stick to the significance of prefix pronoun nun, indicating one, C, PL. So the translation, what about the meaning? Okay, you can say, let us, let us. What is the meaning of halak? Halak,
walk,
Go
Walk.
or walk.
walk or
walk,
go. Right, you're right. So then the translation would be, the meaning would be, let us go, or let us walk. Okay, so what is the final translation then? Let us go
Please
a 3-day direct way in the wilderness. This sounds like Exodus. Yeah, Exodus 3, verse 18. Okay, then let's move on to the each slide. Jim, would you like to read the slide, please?
Cohortative. The cohortative conjugation is used much like the imperative to express a wish, request, or command. It may also be used, however, to express purpose in order to or resulting in. The cohortative occurs only in first person singular and plural. When translating the cohortative, use the keyword let or may. Ash
All right, you don't need to
Ashmalra.
read it. Just to read.
May I observe the law? Let me observe your law. Let us make a covenant.
Okay, stop.
May we make a covenant.
Yes, you can stop there. Yeah, as you can see, we have prefix pronoun and then karat here and he ending. It's quite strange because we have the prefix pronoun nun, and then in case of first common plural prefix form, it has no augment at the end. It has no prefix complement. So you can recognize that this he ending must be a special one. What is it? That is the indicator of what?
Cohesive.
Qualitative. Okay. So it's the same. First person is used here. Okay. First common singular prefix pronoun. And then the main verb is shamar. He ending again. So what is more important between ahe ending and particle na is ahe ending. Sometimes you cannot see na, but ahe ending, I'm gonna say ending is the most important indicator of qualitative. That's why I'm saying when a verb is used in the form of qualitative, and lengthening is expected. Okay, lengthening. So that's it. Um, Let me move on. Albert, would you read?
Like the imperative, the particle na also occurs with the qualitative. The qualitative verbal form is constructed by adding ahe to a first person form of the prefix. The final ahe is the diagnostic indicator of the qualitative conjunction,
Conjugation.
conjugation. However, it cannot be added to a verb which already ends in he. So in a form like na alek, the mood has to be inferred from the context.
All right. So there you go. If we are dealing with a verb of which third root letter is the he, like Allah, then the thing is we cannot have doubling of he. Even we will not have dagesh. Let me explain this. Okay, in order for us to have Allah, uh, is Allah, okay? And then the third little letter is the he. So in order for us to have this one as quotative, either nun or aleph will come in the beginning. But having either nun or aleph in the beginning is not sufficient enough to make it as quotative. Why? Because this one is just a prefix form. So we need to have a he ending. But the thing is, he comes two times and it's not possible. Then you may ask, okay, why don't you just put an dagesh porte there to double it? But it's not possible because this is the form that we even just general rule. Okay, when even the last hair comes at the end, and we normally what is it? It's not really common for the hair to be remaining. Sometimes it does. Even Allah, when the word Allah is attached to verb conversive, then hair tends to disappear. But anyway, that is the tendency. So what I'm trying to say is actually there is no indicator at all for the third hair verb for us to distinguish the difference between the prefix form and quotative form. Okay, one more time. There is no difference between quotative and prefix form if we are dealing with a third he verb. Then the question is, and how are we going to see the difference between them? Well, you need to discern it depending on the context. That is the most important. But you know, causative is much easier than just see. Tomorrow we are going to do with another form called just see. Just see is a a form of commandment addressed to the third person. Okay, so commandment for the second person is called imperative, and then the commandment for causative is called, I mean, first person is called causative, and commandment for the third person is called jussive. But jussive is really harder. Why? Because when we have this specific indicator of a he ending, jussive will not have it. Very occasionally, it will have shortening, but most of the time we have to determine it based on the context. So now, compared to Joseph, qualitative is quite straightforward. But anyway, you don't need to pay attention to the indicator of Joseph. We need to only deal with this qualitative. Okay, talking about the indicator of qualitative, then we need to remember what? A, he, ending. And then the main verb will be used together with prefix pronoun, especially first person. So should be either alep or nun. And it's good if you can see not particle comes together with the verb. Okay. So if you see na, then you can think about this possibility as well. But unfortunately, if you are dealing with a third head verb, then you will be careful with the form. Why? Because you cannot simply consider it as a prefix form. You need to always think about another possibility of causative. Okay, if you are dealing with the first person, let's move on. Okay, Ami, could you read, please?
Yes, sir. The word na is also attached to hine. The word na is usually translated as please and just as frequency not translated at all. Some scholars treat it as a model particle, indi-
Ooh. Yeah, go ahead.
indicating action arising out of a preceding statement.
Yes, thank you, Ami. Now we begin to see what is going on there. I think construction, remodeling, right? I didn't know. How can you focus on this right now with this noise? That's amazing. Kanae, do you have the same problem there?
I can hear some sound,
Oh,
but
but
not
not
that.
as serious as Amy. I mean, what about you, Albert?
Sorry, that's why I use headphones. So yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good, good. Right. Oh, I have a pity on you, Amy, but you did a good job. All right. Okay. So yeah, it's just general information about na. Okay, just to put the translation of a please or now. But the idea is na is sometimes used together with quotative. Okay, and then we will call it na particle. Okay, then this is the analysis of the main verb halak, hal. And as I said, the form is not prefix form. You have to put cohortative. Okay, one more time. If you put prefix form there, you will lose a mark. Okay, cohortative. PGN 1CPL, special feature, particle na, and then there you go. We are going to call the he, he ending as cohortative he. Okay, cohortative he. It's not called emphatic he. Emphatic he is used for imperative form. So the proper name of this he ending is cohortative he. Okay, so for your assignment and translation quiz, you have to remember those technical terms. Particle na or not particle and quotative he, he quotative, whatever. The meaning is let. What does it mean by one CPL? Must be us, plural. So let us go. Okay.
Sir, I have a
Yeah.
question. We can see there is na is please connected with the market. Why is not in the meaning?
All right. That's a good point. I think you can. I mean, you need to include it here. Yeah. Thank you for that. I think we need to include that one. So let us go. Or please let us go will be acceptable. Even without particle na, we can simply put the meaning of let us go because qualitative itself carries the idea of let us or let me. Okay. So thank you for the comments. Right. We need to
Can I
include the
ask
meaning.
also, does not ever appear on its own, just as a word on its own, or is it only to indicate cohortative?
Sorry, Pierce.
Does the particle na, does
Uh-huh.
that ever appear just on its own as a word, or do you only ever see it as an indicator for the cohortative?
Well, yeah, actually now will even appear for other forms and together with the other aspects. So we cannot say that not is always used for qualitative. Even it can come with other things. So it can be used on its own. But when we have this one attached to the main verb, which is used in the form of causative, then you can simply include it in a special picture. But in terms of a meaning, there is no really big difference because now already has the meaning of please and now, right? And it's not always that now will come for the qualitative form. So sometimes you can see or sometimes you cannot see. At the same time, we cannot say that now will be always used for the case of qualitative. So if you see the word na, then just don't be hesitant to put the meaning of please or na. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Um, okay, so these are the words that we already analyzed. So direct means way, shelsh mean 3, yamim means days, and then midbar means in the wilderness. So translation, the literal translation, please let us go. Parenthesis to a way of 3 days in the wilderness. NIV, let us take a 3-day journey into the desert. KJV, now let us go. We beseech thee 3 days journey into the wilderness. Okay, we have another slide for Joseph, but I don't want you to read it right now because we need to focus on the qualitative, and the Joseph is going to be about next lesson, lesson 42. So, okay, I believe your assignments are posted on the Moodle. I don't know which numbers you need to take, but just please go to the Moodle website and then make sure which one is your assignment. Okay. Let me show you another thing here. Let's look at your textbook, page 193. Okay. Talking about the cardinal number in Hebrew, probably it's better for us to take a look at this and then try to be familiar with even other numbers. Okay. Taking different forms to modify, you know, some nouns. So let me take picture for those who don't have the textbook. Please wait. Okay. So if you have your textbook with you, please look at page 193. And no, come on. What am I supposed to do? What do I need to do? Okay, let me try this. Sorry, it takes a certain time. There must be. How am I going to? I don't know. Okay, please take your time to look at the textbook and then pay attention to the numbers and then variation. Okay, I will come back to you. Just give me a second. Okay, look at this. As you can see, we have different forms for each number. Okay. Eka, number one. Shenaim, Sharsha. But the form is we have today is a shell shed, right? This one. So depending on the location of the cardinal number, actually it may have different form at the end. And at the same time, depending on what kind of nouns um, the numbers are modifying, you can just have different variation as well. But most importantly, although we have, well, those all different forms, but sometimes you may not be able to see the agreement in terms of gender and number. So do not pay too much attention to, okay, this one is masculine noun and this one is feminine noun. Okay, this one is before or after. What really matters is you spend your time trying to be familiar with this form, because in terms of well, what is it, lexicon form and the word that we memorize in our vocabulary is, I think Eckhart is the one that you have, right? Eckhart. And looking at Akat and then Akat and Akat, you need to know, oh, this one is the variation of Eckhart. So you may not be able to see the lexicon form. So that's why you need to spend some time trying to be familiar with this variation. But do not too much pay attention to, okay, this one must be, feminine noun being modified by the cardinal numbers. Okay, just instead you try to spend some time and then be familiar with all those variation. Okay, so trying to memorize an ekat, then you need to be even familiar with ekat. Okay, ekat. Shenaim, shene. Shetaim, shete. Shelsha, shelshet. Shelsho, and shelf. I think it's just shells. Shells, shush and shells. Arba, arba, arba. Okay. So you need to be familiar with this. I don't want to really spend more time for this, but I'm trying to tell you that the lexicon form that you have memorized will not be appearing as it is. Okay. So there are some other variations depending on the nouns that is modified by the cardinal number. Okay. So that's it. All right, then let's go back to, let me see. Okay, let's finish page 183. Okay, let's finish that one. I don't remember. Who was the last one yesterday?
Ears.
Yeah, me, I think. I did number 18.
Okay, so we need to go to number 17. Who's in charge of number 17? Anyone? Number 17. Okay, let's go to number 16. Who is in charge of number 16?
Me.
Okay, Kanae. Let's do it.
It's the root letters asa
Mm-hmm.
and
Stem.
stem kal and hifil
Okay, so you say there are two possibilities. Why?
because pata under prefix pronoun.
You're right.
Then it's prefix.
Mm-hmm.
Then MSG.
Okay.
Then non-special feature.
Okay, so this one is quite straightforward, but as I always emphasize, if we have pata under the fixed pronoun, then I simply consider it as the hip stem all the time because you have another possibility of car if you are dealing with a double weak verb. Okay. So then, Kanae, I think you need to deal with the 16, right? I gave you two because 17
Now
is so
I
easy.
now I did 16, then 15 also. It was mine.
Okay, you 15, 16, 17?
I think 17 was for Stephen.
Oh, okay, right. You're right. Stephen is not here. Okay, so you did it 16. No, you need
Yeah.
to do 16. All right, go ahead.
I did 16.
Okay, sorry. We didn't do
Sorry.
17. Shouldn't wake up. Come on, what's going on? Okay, so then 16, this is what you did. But anyway, it's the same. The idea is we have hata under the fixed pronoun, and then that indicates kal, and then hifin stem. That's it. Okay, what about 15?
15 is barak.
Mm-hmm.
Then stem is peel.
Okay.
Then form prefix.
Mm-hmm.
Then PG and 3MSG.
Mm-hmm.
Then special feature verb conjunction and 1CPL pronominal suffix.
You did a good job. That why do you think this is PL?
Because commits under bet because Resh cannot take Dagesh.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Then
you're right. And then anything else?
Because I think for PL stem we have Sheva under prefix pronoun, but verb hirek yod indicate verb Sheva and prefix with Sheva.
Okay. All right,
So
you're
I thought
using all those information, but I think that you have two important indicators here. Number one is comments under the first root letter, and at the same time, I want to really hear the word that you know I know the vocabulary because barak is normally used in the PS stem. There are certain verbs, okay, appearing in a specific form, like even zava, okay, and dabar, and barak is the same. So, but anyway, so this indicator is good enough for us to recognize the PS stem. So you're right. So then that's it. You're right. Then recognizing new ending as a pronoun, the suffix, pronominal suffix indicating one. What did you say? One.
one CPL.
All right. One C P L. Okay. Let's move on to verse 14. Who is in charge?
Mr.
Okay. Yes. Phineas.
The root word is barak.
Mm-hmm.
Form is PL.
Mm-hmm.
Stem affix
Mm-hmm.
and 3 CPL.
Mm-hmm.
Special feature ni 1 CS 1 S 1 C 1 CS 1 CSG pronominal suffix.
Great.
And the
And how
meaning
did you know this is PL? What is the most
uh,
important
the
indicator?
first root letter under the first root letter the tere and
Mm-hmm.
the second root letter rash the middle root letter cannot take the dagesh sound. And then also the vocabulary barak is usually used
Yes,
for
good,
PL.
good answer. In
Yes.
fact, it is supposed to be hirek in case of the car stem. That's why there is a compensation when the middle root letter cannot take the dagesh for them. So that's
Yeah.
why hirek becomes zere. So you're right. So one more time, if you are dealing with a middle root letter, then you need to be careful with the stem, especially to see the possibility of PL, even when you cannot see the dagesh in the middle root letter. So as we have discussed, dageshi cannot come in the middle root letter if they are gotro or resh. So yeah, you are able to successfully recognize everything. Thank you. And then let's move on. Verse 13, number 13.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ami.
Uh, Sever and PL, affix, and CMSG.
Yes, you're right. Okay. Totally different world there. Okay. Yeah, you're right. And then as I said, everything is quite straightforward. And this is a PL. Why? Because of Dagesh in the middle. And then must be Hirek. All right. So fortunately, we have Dagesh. That's why it is possible that we have Hirek instead of Sere. So it was quite straightforward. Okay. Thank you, Ami. And then, as I said, this is another vocabulary that is normally used in the PS stem. Okay. Move on to verse 12. Who was in charge? Verse 12? Okay, Chumpy. Sorry, Chumpy. I cannot hear you. Can you hear him? We can hear you. We cannot hear you. You can hear me. Okay. So I think this is a really good strategy that you don't need to analyze this. Champi, we will come back to you just to figure out the problem. Okay.
Professor,
Yeah.
he typed in the chat box.
Okay, Champi, you did it. All right. Good. Good. You write it. You wrote it. So your analysis is Nathan, Kyle, or Fix, 3 MSG. Okay. So it's a verse number 12. Is that all? And then that's a 1C SCG pronominal suffix. Is this what you want to say? Yeah, you're right. Everything is correct. So this is another way of doing it. Thank you. Appreciate it. So this is Nathan. And then you can see that why is that we have ni ending? Okay. It's quite, it's not really common appearance though. But anyway, we have everything here, Nathan, and then must be Carl, and a fixed form because we don't have a prefix pronoun. And then we have ni. Okay. And then some of you may ask, why is that we have then shua under the first letter? One more time. It affects, this pronominal suffix affects the vowel points. Normally, kamets becomes shua. Okay. But sometimes you may not be able to see this change at all. But when it comes to the combination between a fixed form, the ordinary or fixed form, and the pronominal suffix, especially when we are expecting comet under the first letter, then comet tends to become a shua for maybe not really double weak work, but generally speaking, it serves many verbs like that. Okay, anyway, good job. Number 11.
It's me.
Okay.
So it's Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
Carl stem.
Mm-hmm.
The form is participle.
Mm-hmm.
PGN MPL. No special feature. Meaning giving.
Right, good job. Because the whole name above the first letter is enough to help us to see the participle form, and then im ending is a specific ending for masculine plural in participle. Good job. Number 10. Samson. Okay, you did the same
I was
thing.
gonna no, I was gonna pretend my mic doesn't work.
All right.
Yeah. So matzah, uh, call, yeah, call and affix and one CSG. Yeah.
Yeah, good job. It was quite straightforward too. So the reason why we have even quite, what is it, plain uh, verb like this is it because we need to really make sure that we can recognize all those special case of having pronominal suffix augment. Okay, so you need to really see the difference between the two cases that one we have only just the plain form without any pronominal suffix like prefix and affix, even sometimes maybe infinitive construct imperative. And then sometimes those forms can be attached to pronominal suffix. And what do we expect? We need to be able to know how to see the difference between them. So that's it. Good job. And number 9.
Yes.
Okay.
The root letter will be the root Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Stem will be Hifil. In call, form will be prefix. BGN is 3 FSG and 2 MSG. And the meaning will be she will bring up, you will go up.
Okay, good job. You did a good job. As I said, two possibilities of the stem. So Karl and Hyphen should be there because of the presence of pata under the prefix pronoun. And then taf, prefix pronoun indicates two possibilities of PGN. So you're right. Okay, good job. Let's move on. Number 8. I think we are done. Is it Jim? Jim, one number.
Sir, I was disconnected last class.
Okay.
9-5,
So you are
around
not
9-5,
given.
since I don't have batteries.
Okay,
Yeah.
then it's good. Let me test you right now. Number 8. What is
Number
your
8.
analysis?
Number 8, sir.
Yeah.
Allah.
Allah. Stem.
Allah, and Allah is the root word, and it should be Kal.
Kal.
Or Hifel.
Yes. You need to include because pata under the prefix pronoun. Prefix.
Prefix 1 CSG.
Great.
And the vowel conversion is the root, the special feature.
Good job. Yeah, you did well. You don't have any problem in doing it here without preparation. Proud of you, Jim. Doing a good job. Okay, anyone else that I miss? No? Okay. We are given 50 minutes. Let me ask you this question. What do you want? I can move on to next lesson. Lesson 42. I think it's gonna be quite a simple one. Or I can let you go. We are done today. And if we do lesson 42 today, then I think we'll be able to cover some maybe important issue in terms of having a review tomorrow after the class. Or it doesn't matter even if you want to just have a little, break, 15 minutes, I can let you go too. What do you want? Let's take a vote. Who wanna go for lesson 42? Raise your hand. Okay, we have only one excellent student. Sorry, Amos. Seems like the majority wants to be dismissed. All right. I but appreciate you a lot, Amos. I love you, man.
Thank you, man. Love you.
That's enough. Okay, so then dismiss, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Okay, have a just great day with God. Okay, see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.
You, sir. God bless.
Thank you, classmate, for voting.
Professor.
Oh yeah, Simpson.
Sorry, I got one real quick question. Just
sure.
on the number 10 that I did. Because I now it's supposed to be basic, but I forgot. When I translated it, do I translate it as I will find, or is it just I find?
Okay, this one is a simple prefix form. I mean, affix form, right? I'm not. Yeah, affix form. Atat T. So affix should be translated in what tense? Affix.
Yeah, that's the thing that
you want to clarify. Okay, let me tell you this. Forget about verb conversion and verb recursive. We don't have any verb stuff there. If you have only affix form and only prefix form, it should be opposite in a tense. So affix is a complete action. So it should be the past tense. Okay.
Okay.
If you remember this, then you can always, imagine the other stuff. Then what about prefix form without verb? then prefix form should be future tense. Do you
Okay.
understand? Then
Yeah.
when they are coming with verb reversive and verb conversive, then it reverses the tense. Okay. So is that clear?
Yeah.
All
Thank you.
right.
Because yeah, this I trip up on that sometimes. Well, a lot. Yeah.
Right, and then I think you can simply memorize only one if you are confused. Okay, remember affix form. Affix is an completed action. Okay.
Okay.
So is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's okay.